Well, good morning and welcome to Prepping for Prosperity. How are you all this morning? It's kind of a rainy, cloudy day out there today, which I like because we need the rain and it's preparing my garden for the spring. It's tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day, so we're supposed to have our potatoes in the ground, right? Tomorrow? I don't know if I'll make it because I have other things to do, but I'll get close to it. That kind of brings up what I was going to talk about, and that is food. Now, today I was, to be honest, today I was going to talk about how your job is the seed and your business that you should be either starting or building is the tree. Okay, but I'm going to set that back. I think I'm going to do that next time because that idea set in motion my thought process, and I said, okay, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to set this in here and talk about the importance of food. Food is power, and food is freedom. And one of the things, for those of you who don't garden yet, you should, because there is real prosperity in gardening. I'm going to put a video over on the Patreon side that shows how a man in a small little city lot turned his little hobby garden into such a success. It fed his entire family and developed into a business where he provides to restaurants and things like that. Same thing happened here, just up north of the river and in the Kansas City area. A guy started growing tomatoes years ago, just because he wanted some, and then he got into like specialty tomatoes. I read the article years ago, and I haven't kept up on it, but he developed this over a year so big. He became like the tomato king, and he was providing all these specialty tomatoes to the fancy restaurants and all that, and built himself a business. Well, that's also going to be included when I talk about your job is the seed, but your business is the tree. That'll be next time. But the importance of gardening. First off, the food that you grow yourself is going to be better, more nutritious, and not contain the dangerous chemicals that we get from the store. For those of you who do garden, you know the difference between the taste of a store-bought tomato and one that you grew, right? It's just amazing. For those of you who do not garden and haven't grown your own, you have never tasted a tomato. You think you know what a tomato tastes like because of what you get at the store or on the hamburger down at the burger joint. You don't know what a tomato tastes like, and it's unbelievable. If you don't grow your own peaches, you don't know what a real good peach tastes like. And same with potatoes and peppers and all of these things. I want to get you interested in gardening, because not just of the health benefits that it will bring you and your family, but because of the financial benefits, because of the money that you won't be spending at the store. And now we know as preparedness-minded people that food is important. Food is life. But depending on how you get your food, it either enslaves you if you're dependent on other people for that, or it frees you if you produce your own. So for those of you who produce your own already, I would suggest that you increase, step up your gardening this year. The world is falling apart. I'm convinced that we're headed towards World War III. Don't know when that's going to happen, but when you combine the banking collapse, by the way, a little bit of financial information here that I might put over. I'll have to find the article, and whether or not I find it to put over on the Patreon side. The Fed just said that they were going to inject up to $2 trillion into the banking system. What does that do? We've got inflation, we're going to have more. What that's going to translate into is higher prices at the grocery store, right? So if you are having to pay higher prices, they are devaluing your money. If you're growing your own food, you're not worrying about that. So I think we are headed into very, very challenging times, between the southern border being run at, between the bank collapse, the financial collapse, the things going on over in Europe. Everybody's trying to get us into a war over there. All of these things are coming together like in a perfect storm to make life more difficult. Well, whether life becomes more difficult is less up to the world around us than it is to us and what we do to prepare against those challenging times, right? We all know that. So let me just say to the experienced gardeners out there, double, triple, quadruple your production this year. And I do suggest that I love fruit trees in addition to the vegetables. The great thing about fruit trees is you plant it once, and after a few years it starts producing, and it just keeps producing. As long as it keeps raining, it keeps producing. Tomatoes, peppers, all of the vegetables. You have to plant them every year. It's very, very labor intensive. It's worth the labor, but it takes the labor. Fruit trees, berries is another thing. I love berries, blackberries, strawberries, raspberries. I've never had good luck with blueberries, but that's just me. You might. But those really are the true perennials, the ones that will keep on producing year after year. So one of the first things that I would do if you don't is get out there and plant some fruit trees. Plant a couple of apple trees. You need more than one, and you need them of slightly different species in order for them to best cross-pollinate. Plant a couple of peach trees, depending on where you are. And the peach trees can be finicky. They need the right amount of rain at the right time, but in a good year, boy, they produce a lot. Pear trees, cherry trees, and plum trees. I just got my first bunch of plums off of a plum tree last year, and man, they were good. Here again, if you have only eaten fruits and vegetables from the store, you don't know how good they really should taste. Okay, now for the new people, for people who haven't been gardening very much, it truly is a financial investment that you can make. There's a lot of, and I won't try to give you all the information here, but there are, YouTube is full of gardening advice, gardening videos. Watch them. If you don't garden at all, I would suggest you start with container gardening this year. Get a couple of containers. You can use the plastic buckets that you buy at the hardware store. Fill them with a good mix of potting mix and soil and manure, and then put your tomato plant in there. Punch some holes in the bottom so it will drain. They don't like to drown. You want to water them well in container garden, but maybe I'll do a separate one on this. You need to water them more simply because the moisture is going to go out the bottom. So you need to be on those daily watering those, unless they, you'll see. Don't overwater. But start off with a couple of tomato plants. You can buy them down at Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever your local place is, and a couple of pepper plants if you like peppers. Even if you don't like peppers, it's fun to watch them grow. And I love the colored peppers. I grow some of the most beautiful purple sweet peppers you've ever seen, and it's just beautiful when you pick those and you slice them and you put them in your salad or on your hamburger or whatever. It's just great. And then also I suggest herbs. Herbs are so easy to grow in just little pots. You can do them on your patio, on your deck, whatever. Go down to your big box store. Don't try to start them from seeds right now because you're just getting started. Some can be difficult to start from seed. Go down and get the ones that are already started. They cost you $3 or $4. And then have a rosemary, a basil, a couple of mints, oregano, basil. Did I say basil? Maybe. And just put those in some good potting soil in your pots and water them daily. And those things are going to start to grow. And you know what? You're going to go out every morning and clip a little bit of oregano or clip a little bit of rosemary. I'll tell another story about rosemary another time. I'll probably do that on the Patreon side. And clip some of these. You put them on your eggs, and you put them in your meals or whatever. And man, the taste is going to just blow you away, and it's going to. It has health. Herbs have health benefits. Parsley. You can't believe the micronutrients in parsley. And I've introduced this to some people that I knew, some doctors, and they said, well, I never knew that it had any nutrients in it. I just always found it on my plate and ignored it. Now, parsley has amazing micronutrients. It should be considered a superfood. You start putting parsley on your food, and you won't necessarily notice like you feel like a Superman, but it will have such a positive effect on you. So that's what I wanted to say today. I'm going to put over on the Patreon side the video of this man who transformed his yard into such a producing garden. It completely freed him from having to pay for most of from his vegetative. I don't know if he goes to the store and buys meat and fish or eggs or anything like that, but it completely provides the food for he and his family, saving him all of that money. And you can imagine how much healthier they are. And it tells his entire story in this. I think it's only about 15 or 20 minutes long. So if you're, hey, by the way, if you're not with us on the Patreon side, you should come over. That thing is exploding. I woke up today and said, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe how many more people had joined. And I'm happy about that, for the reason that shows how many more people are going to be able to have the information that's over there. So if you're not over there, please consider coming over for your benefit. It's only $5 a month, and I'll guarantee you the information over there is worth 10 times that. You'll be glad you did. But I'll put this over on Patreon. It's a fascinating 15-minute video for you to watch, and it's really going to, even for you experienced gardeners, I think it's going to I think it will really encourage you. It will inspire you. It will encourage you to get out there. This is the time of year that we can really start investing in some freedom and investing in some financial benefits from the growing of our own food. So you all have a good day. Remember that your prosperity is up to you under the direction of the good Lord. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.